This is number 138B, Radd. And one quick thing I want to say is the reason why he is 138B is because there were two dudes that were marked as number 138. There is no official number 135. They skipped number 135, so I don't know how that happened, but it must have been just a mix-up or something. But Radd is number 138, and I'm just noticing something. His I don't know if this is intentional or not. Like if all the other Radd figures are like this, but mine has his one thumb painted as the same color as his open hand glove, so that's interesting. But Radd is basically, he is a parody of the two main characters in the movies, Thrashing, which came out in 1986, and then we have Gleaming the Cube, which came out in 1989. Thrashing is starring Josh Brolin, and then Gleaming the Cube is starring Christian Slater. But according to the Dude Museum blog, it's saying that he is leaning more toward the first movie, because the first movie is about becoming like a professional skateboarder, and it takes place in the 80s, while the second movie, but on the other hand, the second movie, starring Christian Slater, he looks more like Christian Slater. So he's a pretty cool dude. Not one of my favorites, but he's still cool. He's very hard to find. There were 6 dudes released in the very first series of Street Crew. They were the only G4 figures to have magnets. Well, actually, I take that back, because the one I previously reviewed, Clobber, he got a variant in a hot dog suit that came with the Van Former, and he had magnets. And then there was also, they did a new version of Art. It's basically, it's the same. He's also the God of War Kratos parody still, but he's posed differently, and he's holding his swords like differently, and but yeah, he's posed differently. I haven't reviewed him yet, but they made basically starting with Street Crew Series 2, they or Wave 2, basically was when they started to phase out the magnets, yeah. So there were a total of 6 figures released in the first series of Street Crew dudes. There were 2 new figures. There was Radd and Clobber, and then the other 4 were reprints. They were Eddie, Barney, Turbo, and Cheese. And those are ones that we've seen before. I have 2 out of 6. I'm still looking for Eddie, Barney, Cheese, and Turbo. But I have Radd, and obviously I have Clobber. But this one is a pain in the ass to find. He is definitely the hardest figure to find in the first Street Crew series. I'm very lucky to have him. You can see his magnets are painted white again. I'm not sure what the deal was with them painting the magnets white on the newer figures that had magnets, but they did. He's got a plug back, and you can see he's not in that bad of condition, but he is pretty cool. He's not one of my favorites, but I can see why people, he's very sought after. Rarely shows up on eBay or any other online site, so if you see him, grab him while you can, because he is like almost impossible to find, and I'm very lucky to have him. And like I said, he's extremely rare, but he's extremely cool. And I think that's going to do it for this video, so I'll see you guys next time for a review number 138A, Snowball. Oh, I forgot to mention, Radd and Snowball were both marked number 138, but I'm just deciding, just because Snowball Law was released first. He's 138A, and Radd is 138B. They're not actually 138A and 138B, but I decided to just call them that because they're both marked number 138, and I just to make it easier for myself. If I marked one 138A and another 138B, that helps me like keep track of which figure is which. So just thought that out. So speaking of Snowball Law, the next review is going to be on Snowball Law. So I'll see you guys then.